See how much ran in here?
Thomas has got the first down. Oh, Thomas! He's gonna go! Down the right sideline! Touchdown, Houston!
Listen, we're a sleeping giant too.
Call them five slamma jammer.
And somebody record me that where's Kris acting stupid? So I'm looking forward to all of that too.
Don't sleep on Houston. Don't sleep on Houston.
Again.
Let's go!
Go Coogs! Let's go!
It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars.
Let's raise food.
Hey.
Ooh, that's a tough intro to watch after this outing in the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, we're coming off a very disappointing loss for Houston, but this is still Let's Rage Coogs presented by the Saxenian Family. Big shout out to Steve Saxenian for being a primary sponsor now for several years, all season long, going back to week 1 of football season all the way through the end of the men's basketball NCAA Tournament run. Big thank you to today's secondary sponsor, Star Pizza Houston, BB's Tex Orleans. And a shout out to today's sponsor of the comment section, the Pinto Leon Law Firm. We are coming to you live from inside the Toyota Center, where the Houston Cougars fell 65-55 against Illinois, and their season comes to an end in the Sweet 16 round. Kris, Dayon, there's no other way to put it. It was ugly. It was an ugly performance inside of the Toyota Center.
It was disappointing. I wouldn't say it was ugly. They missed a lot of shots. I mean, Illinois did miss a lot of shots in the first half, too. It was 24-22 at halftime. So it was a lot of missed shots by both teams. Illinois got hot early in the second half, and the Cougs did not answer due to some timely makes, but some miscommunications on defense as well. But one of the things that reared its head in the losses earlier this season, they could not get a key defensive rebound when they needed to, when they had to have one. When they cut it to 9, had a chance to get that board and cut it to 7 or 6, they didn't do it. And then gave up a dagger 3, and that started another 8-0 run, and that was it.
I'm with you, Andy. It was ugly. I'm with you. It was ugly. I don't even think that one rebound was a indication of how the game really went. It's kind of a reoccurrence, and the team is prepared to play against the Houston defense and prepared to move the ball. They execute well. I mean, they got missed shots, but really just going to the Houston offense. I mean, that's pretty much what we've seen a lot against good teams, and it's tough to watch.
But elaborate, because Chris Sinak had great shots. He missed them.
They're great shots if they fall. He had good looks.
He had good looks. He missed them.
If they're not falling, you got to adjust as a coach. If shots not falling, you got to adjust. You got to make adjustments.
In what way? Come on. I'm going to pull it out of you tonight on the show.
You got to adjust.
Like what? Come on, you're a coach now. Like what? Adjust how?
Different actions. Maybe go to the press earlier instead of doing the same sets that you've been doing and not getting the shots aren't falling. Maybe try to change the pace of the game. Try to do different things to in
Get a transition.
Well, it's hard to do a full court press so you don't make shots when you don't score. They were pressing it after the buckets.
No, it's not, Kris.
One thing I wanted them to do for sure was go to the high-low with JoJo to drop off. JoJo had 4 assists at a point in the second half. He was their best player.
That was an adjustment in the second half. Instead of Kris standing for that short mid-range, he started diving to the basket. But I'm just saying in the half-court offensive sets, if you make a miss, pick up full court, man to man. You don't got to press. You can try to – there's different ways to speed up the game. Go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
No, the only thing I would add to that is just it didn't really seem like there was – I don't know. They just seemed too passive in terms of really attacking the paint, and they didn't really do it until they got down 18, and then they realized, like, well, they have to play with desperation, and Emmanuel did a great job. once they got down 18, getting into the paint, and then he was having that little pull-up jumper. But before that point, it was a lot of jumpers and settling. I get that's the biggest disappointment. It felt at times before when they went scoreless that they really settled and they never really pushed the envelope against this Illinois team. And give credit to the Fighting Illini because they had a great game plan. They executed and they basically dared Houston. If you're gonna beat us, you're gonna beat us by hitting your jump shots, and Houston failed miserably tonight at doing that. To your point, Chris, you're all right. Chris, I don't have a problem with any of the shots that Chris and Zach took in terms of them being open.
What about you? What adjustments you think could have been made? Because the shots were good, but like you said, Illinois was prepared. Their coaching staff had to be prepared. So at what point do you just, what we do, it works. If you do it, works.
I just think the biggest thing is that Milos and Kingston and Emmanuel had to be a little bit more aggressive. Like they had to at least get into the paint, which a lot of times they weren't doing. Not necessarily get to the rim. I just feel like they honestly didn't really challenge Illinois' big men a lot. And again, that's credit to them. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Also in that, from my point of view, it's a lot of, I don't want to use the word favoritism, which goes back to what it's been like for a while. At some point, some players might not have it going. It's okay to sit them down. It's okay.
But neither did Mercy. He didn't have it going either.
He didn't play in the second half at all.
He didn't do anything positive in the first half when he played.
In how many minutes, Chris?
So you just want to give him minutes that he did not do well in the first half.
What didn't he do well, Chris?
Like everybody else, he did not make shots in the first half. And
in how many minutes?
He settled for three-point attempts.
He shot
one of his strengths is to get to the hoop, and he didn't do that. He wasn't aggressive. Andy, didn't he say that he would need to be aggressive in the locker room? He said he wasn't aggressive.
Chris, I ain't talking about what he said. What did you see with your eyes then?
He wasn't aggressive. He did not attack the basket like every other guard. He settled for jumpers.
Okay, what about in the second half? Did he play in the second half?
Played 1 minute.
Why would he?
Why wouldn't he?
In place of who?
You tell me who.
No. This is your point. So you make your point. You're saying favoritism. I want you to say it. Bring some of this out. You have the fire you have in our group chat. Say it tonight. Come on. Say it.
I'm asking you because you're saying
I don't have that problem.
I don't have the problem either, but I'm asking you from what you're seeing. You were there. And so you're saying for who could he have played for?
That's what I want you to say it.
I'm asking you.
Emmanuel finally stopped taking threes and got into the paint. He made a couple of jumpers. That's what you have to do. When you do that, when a team is daring you to take threes, you don't have to take a three.
What about Milos?
You can attack the basket. They didn't do that. Milos missed shots. Milos was aggressive. He had shots bounce off the rim. Everybody missed shots. That was the problem. It became contagious.
You just said for Mercy that he didn't do anything, but he missed shots. So I'm trying to find the commonality there. He wasn't aggressive because what? Milos, was he aggressive? What's the difference? How was he aggressive? Because he did what?
He took shots. Did he take shots? He took 11 shots.
But you just said Mercy wasn't aggressive because he took shots.
Mercy took 3 shots. He wasn't aggressive getting to the hoop. That's what I'm saying. He settled for 3-point shots. He has more in his bag than taking a 3-point shot. That's not his game. If your three's not going, get to the paint. He did not do that tonight in the first half.
Okay.
Wrong? He has more in his game than just 3-point shots, right? Doesn't he?
I think
Doesn't he?
He could have displayed that if he play more minutes.
I will say
in the minutes he had, why did he just take three-pointers?
I think the 3 that he took, one of them was a really good shot.
One out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 3. That's not enough.
One of them,
that's not enough.
Was a pull-up.
When his shot's not falling, he can get to the free throw line. He didn't. There are other ways for him to get involved. He didn't. The team overall, especially in the first half, they settled for perimeter shots. No free throw attempts in the first half. That's settling for jumpers. That's settling for what the defense wants you to do. You got to be aggressive and attack the basket. You can't allow. You want the Cougars to dictate to the opponent, not the other way around.
Yeah. Agreed.
On that note, let's hear what Kingston Flemings had to say after the game, following Houston's Sweet 16 loss to Illinois.
They do great. Wish them luck for whatever they do. Hopefully they can go win it all. But, I mean, they were better than us tonight, and that's all it takes in the March Madness. You know, better than one night and you win. So, congrats to them.
Houston, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, Kingston. Thank you. The reality of it, knowing this is their last time with these guys, was that sinking in there as you walk off?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was at the free throw line. You know, I started putting my head down a little bit. You know, Chase talking to me. You know, keep my head up. Game's not over. It's about 20 seconds left. So, I mean, yeah, I love these guys. And it doesn't matter what it is. This team's never be the same again. It's never going to be these same guys. You know, we're going to lose seniors. We're going to lose anything. But, man, it's a pleasure. It was great to be able to play with them just for 1 year. You know, obviously we wish we accomplished more, but I wouldn't trade this year for anything.
As a team, you guys only went to the free throw line twice. Like, what did Illinois do so good to defend you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you know Illinois, you know they're the number one team at not fouling. So, I mean, they do what they always did. They're a well-coached team. They're a smart team. They go high hands and they don't foul, which is pretty smart. I mean, I think we were doing pretty good there, not fouling up until the end when we kind of had to foul. But, I mean, both teams, refs were great. And at the end of the day, they just beat us. You know, it wasn't anything else. It wasn't the fans. It was nothing. They were better than us for 40 minutes than we were them.
You mentioned just sometimes the shots don't fall. Did you been through something like that where you just see so many just looks that just weren't falling?
Yeah, you said I've been through something like that?
I mean, what just knowing that it happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's like something I'm doing wrong or something, but it's the same thing that happened in high school. Man, we played Bel Air. You know, we're getting open shots. You know, same thing that happened here. You know, we get the shots that we wanted, and it just happens to not fall. But, you know, cookie crumbles like that sometimes, and I'm just proud of my guys. You know, you can't blame it on anyone. We all could have done better. We all worked hard. I mean, we pushed to the end. We was down 18 there, got it down to 7. You know, I mean, a few plays go a different way. Who knows what happens? But that's a great Illinois team, and kudos to them. Hope that they do great.
Y'all typically thrive on getting out in transition and turning defense into offense. What makes it so difficult about just having to face them in the half court so often tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they play a really tight defense. You know, they don't really go out and pressure a lot, so they don't really, like, as the years gone on, they don't really get a lot of turnovers. So, I mean, they're all in gaps. But honestly, on the offensive end, we were getting a lot of shots that we like. But again, just weren't falling. I think we got a good amount of decent offensive rebound. I had to see, but you know, sometimes you just got to put the ball in the hoop.
What do you take away from your first year? What do you think of you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm proud of myself. Obviously, I mean, had some goals, got some of them done, missed some of them, but came to this year and I was just trying to be the best I possibly could for the year. So, I mean, I'm just proud of my guys. You know, everything like that. They got me better every single day. I couldn't be able to do without them for sure.
What did Coach say to you guys after this one? What did he say?
Yeah, I mean, he said a lot, but again, I mean, it's just Sweet 16 is a great year. You get to Elite 8, special year, and go on and on. So, I mean, still a great year. We just don't define the year by this one game. You know, I mean, that we competed on defense and just, you know, couldn't buy a bucket. So, just rough for sure.
Big shout out to Houston Cougars guard Kingston Flemings, who spoke after the game and was a very emotional locker room. Before we get back into the conversation, let's thank everybody that's taking the time out of their Friday morning to join us. Now we're about to hit the top of the hour at 1 in the morning. A big thank you to today's sponsors as well for Let's Rage Coogs, starting with Steve Saxenian, who's been the primary sponsor all season long. Big thank you to today's secondary sponsor, Star Pizza Houston, with multiple locations throughout the Houston area. Star Pizza is your go-to spot before or after the game. Be sure you visit them online at starpizza.net and check them out on social media. Star Pizza HOU on X, Star Pizza Houston, Texas on Instagram. Big thank you to BB's Tex Orleans, a Houston Cajun-born seafood restaurant serving bold Louisiana flavors with a Texas twist. and UH alum, a UH owned and operated. So big thank you to both BB's and Star Pizza for being secondary sponsors on this edition. And last but not least, a big thank you to the Pinto Loan Law Firm for being a sponsor of the comment section that you see on the screen on our YouTube live streams or on X. The Pinto Loan Law Firm, the immigration law experts. I'll open the floor. Anything that stood out to you from hearing Kingston Fleming's comments and opening it back up when it comes to this discussion following Houston's loss to Illinois in the Sweet 16.
He was frustrated. He was hurt. He was disappointed, like all the players, as we had a chance to see in the locker room. A lot of tears, hugs, and it was emotional. But tonight's loss isn't the curse of March Madness. It's one and done. The Cougs had the worst scoring output of the season at the worst time. Illinois scored 65 points. That's all they scored. But Houston only scored 55. They both made 9 threes. Houston made their threes too late. Illinois made theirs during the big run. Was it 18-0 run, 22 spurt? Cougs went cold at the wrong time, and it looked ugly because a lot of the shots were good shots. I mean, most of the players said that. We got good shots. We just missed them. I will say this, though, sitting where I sat, and it's fortunate. Illinois is a tall team. Seeing in print 7'1", 7'2", and then 6'9", and then seeing it on the court is different. And then Keaton Vogler, 6'6", 13 rebounds for him, and he didn't shoot well, but he played well overall. He was only 4 for 14, 12 rebounds for Keaton Vogler. I think if you'd have told the staff you'd hold Keaton Vogler to 4 for 14, they would have took their chances at it. Didn't happen, though, because everybody else on the Houston team, except really JoJo for most of the game, struggled to make 50% of their shots.
Going back to your point that you touched on at the beginning, Chris, I think, ultimately, I think it just comes down to they didn't get enough paint touches. And there was a stretch there when Houston, right before halftime, when they were struggling to find offense, that they got a couple of, I think they might have had 3 possessions in a row where JoJo Tugler got the ball in the paint and scored on 2 with Houston. It just rolled out. There was just not a lot of easy baskets for Houston, and the just kind of in that second half when started having defensive breakdowns to go along with it. There was a possession where Illinois got 2 back-to-back layups in a row, and it all came from Illinois getting penetrations inside the paint and the rotations being late. There was a couple of times where the rotations were late from Houston, and they gave up open shots. And you know that the Fighting Illini, how explosive, how potent they were offensively. Chris, we talked about this on the lunch break earlier in the week, yesterday actually, that, this is a very potent offense. And Houston it really hurt that even though they were playing good defense and they were holding him to 24 points in the first half, eventually they were going to find their rhythm offensively, and it didn't help that there were those breakdowns defensively in the second half. Houston just never got their offense going, and that's why Illinois left them in the dust.
And you made a great point in the lunch break. You said Illinois is not a team, an easy team for Houston to come from behind against if they got down by double digits. You made that point, and it bared fruit. Illinois is a good team. They're a very good team. There's a reason why they're still playing. They're a good team, and they got hot at the right time early in the second half. Houston had a chance to, I think, take the lead in the second half and didn't. Mm-hmm. And then Illinois answered, went on a little mini spurt, and then hit Houston with a big spurt. And that was the difference. It was too late to come back.
They answered Houston's 4-point spurt to begin the second half. They scored back-to-back possessions, and I think they were tied once they were supposed to tie at 26. And then they went on a 7-0 run to get back up by 7. Or they went on some kind of run to go back up by 7, and then they never looked back from that point.
Right. Illinois did a great job. They used their length, their height, their size to zone up, to clog the paint. They don't foul, but I want to say this. The refs early in the second half started calling the game tighter. In the lineup, picked up some early fouls. Yeah, they had 4 or 5 fouls early second half, but the Cougs did not take advantage of that by being more aggressive and attacking at them to get to the 1-1 early. So that was a
They
problem.
had 5 fouls. Illinois, they got in the bonus with 9 minutes left in the second half. And Houston didn't get to the free throw line until very late in the game. And they picked up 3 fouls in the first 3 minutes of the second half. And again, ultimately, I think it just comes down to Houston wasn't aggressive enough. And that played to Illinois' favor.
Agreed. And JoJo getting the 4th foul as well, because he was Houston's best player up until that point. And him going on the bench just made a big difference as well. But Merkovich, Wagler, Stojakovic, he scored 9 early. And I think the 3-pointer led to a timeout. Somebody lost him and left him wide open for the corner 3. He hit right in front of me, and I was like, this is money. This is a bucket. But, and Kelvin called timeout and adjusted. And Houston ended the first half scoring the last 6 points. It was 24-16 at one point late in the first half, and then scored the last 6. And you're thinking, from a Houston perspective, only down 2 and
After
didn't play very well.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't make shots, struggled to make shots, only down 2 points. Get a chance to start on them early second half, jump on them, and just didn't get it done.
Well, and it looked like they had found an adjustment because they were running they were getting the ball to JoJo basically in the free throw line, that high key area, and he was creating. He was being, like you said, he was able to be a facilitator when they rotated to go pick him up on that high post, because he had demonstrated earlier in the game that he was capable of getting to closer to the paint and dropping down a little floater, that little hook shot, and he created a couple of opportunities for Chris Gardner. He scored on the first one, and then I guess he tried to dunk on one of them and just completely missed the rim. I don't know if he
that was bad. That was a bad miss.
But after that, they never really went back to that. And like you said, part of it had to do with foul trouble. But that was, again, it just never seemed like anything Houston did was easy besides jump shots. And Illinois took advantage of that.
Let's see, when did JoJo pick up his 4th foul? But, yeah, I mean, he was a facilitator. He was the hub of the offense. And when he sat, the offense bogged down to really just settling for perimeter shots. And the Illini was like, go ahead. Y'all aren't making them, so we're good with that. And they didn't start knocking them down until it was too late.
Let's see. He picked up his 4th foul with 13:59. 13:59 left in the second half to score. I mean, Houston was already down double digits, but they were only down 12, 38-26. And then they fell to 18. Oh, you know what? I know we're being two things.
That was his 3rd foul. His 4th foul when it was 44-31. So it was still down double figures.
Dayon, do you have anything to add real quick before we get to the player of the game here today?
No, go ahead.
Well, I'll put up the graphic in a second, but I think JoJo would have gotten it if he didn't get in foul trouble, but I'm curious to see if you disagree, but you got to give the player of the game to Chase McCarty, just in terms of the hustle. And they were already down 18, but he knocked down a couple threes that, got Houston. They had a chance. And, again, that offensive rebound, when they cut it to 9, really is kind of the final straw that broke the back of the Houston Cougars. I know they were able to get it down 7 a little bit later in the game with a minute left. But he had a stretch there where he hit back-to-back threes. He drew the offensive foul, and he was, those traditional Houston plays that we've been accustomed to. He was making them for Houston, and again, he was able to have that rally for Houston, cut it to within 9 before, unfortunately, Illinois got the big offensive rebound that led to the three-pointer, and then it came down the other possession after they stopped Houston and hit another one to extend the lead back to 15, and that right there was really when the game was sealed for Illinois. At that point, I think there was 3 minutes left in the game around that stretch. Again, big thank you to BB's for being a sponsor of the player of the game, but Chase McCarty, the BB's text on us prior to the game. Now let's hear from Chase McCarty and what he had to say. You'll really get to see the impact that the seniors had on him from his media availability.
Season, how much this year has meant to this program, to this team. What will you never forget about this team?
I'm never gonna forget how much adversity we went through. We had a crazy hard summer. We went through that 3-game stretch. We lost 3 in a row. We didn't care about what people were saying about us. But I'm just proud of these guys for coming out competing, playing hard every game. Yeah.
Just knowing what this team accomplished, to see the shots not go down, and it's at the tough part because you guys have made those shots. Y'all have had games where you pull it out, and is that where things just maybe there in the second half when it's a little bit too big of a hole?
Yeah. We're missing shots. There's nothing you can do about it. A lot of guys miss shots. We all, they miss shots as well. But, I wouldn't say that's the game. I feel like if we, our defense let up a little bit, it was a 24-22 game, and neither of us making shots. So I feel like if we, held it tighter, would have been different story.
There's a message that Kelvin, gave to you guys as you guys were able to spend some time in here before we came in.
Just keep our heads high. The season's over, but one game doesn't make or break you. It doesn't define who we are. We know how much of a great team we are. How hard we fought to get where we're at. And it's disappointing that we lost. Obviously, nobody in here wanted to go home today, but that's how the chips fell.
How much did their size just in the interior make it challenging just to, try to get an easy bucket to get out of the slump and get some momentum offensively?
Yeah, I don't think their size was the problem. We got open looks. They just didn't go in.
Think about the senior leaders of this team, Milos and Manuel, and how much they've meant to this program, as well as Ramon. What will you never forget about those two guys?
He works every single day. He's our leader. He's a great singer for sure. Those came in here and opened up
I'm not gonna forget the lessons that they gave me.
He helped me a lot this year. The team, getting better day by day, and it helped a lot. All-time great for Houston.
I spend every day with Mo, and
best two-way player in the country.
He's just taught me so much about playing here at Houston. The mindset you gotta have to attack every day. Los is going through so much, so much more than any of y'all know. He's a dog. To do what he did, transferred in here from Oklahoma and lead us 2 years to where we are, to where we got to. And, he's a special player. And same thing with Emmanuel. One of the Houston greats. Name that's never going to be forgotten. And he taught me so many lessons. He early on in the season, I was struggling. And he never put me down. Like, he always built me up. He always believed in my shot making ability. He taught me that confidence isn't something that somebody can give or take from you. It's something that you get from yourself and your hard work. And I commend him for that, and that's gonna stick with me forever.
Sorry for that. We had technical difficulties, but once again, that was Chase McCarty that you heard on that audio clip. Really, you get to see the impact that the seniors leaders had on him. And again, he is the BB's Texas Orleans Player of the Game for Houston in the Sweet 16 loss. He finished the game with 9 points, 3 of 7 shooting. He was all 7 of his shots were from the 3-point line. He had a rebound and an assist in 20 minutes. And drew a key charge when Houston was attempting to make a rally late down the game in that stretch when they cut it to 9 with about 5 minutes left in the second half. So big shout out to Chase McCarty and what really was a good season for him, a good second half. Like he mentioned in that clip, he did have his struggles at the beginning of the season, specifically shooting the ball. And clearly a lot of the senior leaders on the team were instrumental in keeping his confidence up even whenever the shots weren't falling at the beginning of the season, and he was able to showcase what we had heard from Coach Calvin Sampson and a lot of the different players and assistant coaches for the past 2 seasons about how good of a shooter that he is, and he was able to showcase it in front of a bigger audience to finish this season. And going forward, it'll be very exciting to see how he continues to develop this upcoming season for Houston.
And I want to touch on something that a viewer posted minutes ago earlier in the show about Illini's size, or I think comment was really kind of Houston's lack of size. I'd like to see Chase or a taller player at the 3 and bigger people up front. Have a taller overall starting 5. I think that's, it's not necessarily going to make or break a team, the Houston team, the culture, but I want taller guards, taller big people, a 7 foot. I wouldn't mind having a 7 foot center and a 6'9" 4 and a 6'6" 3 and a 6'5" 2 and a 6'3" point guard, something like that, all with long arms and athletic and get after it, and also can score on the post, on the block if necessary, need be. But a different look. Big fella Irfan's going to help at the 5 spot next year. Hopefully JoJo can have a healthy off season. He comes back. I like how he played toward the last, 10 games. He played well. He was a good passer as a facilitator. We'll see how things go, how the team will look different personnel, and see who comes back, who doesn't, and who Houston gets in the portal.
Yeah, if JoJo Tugler can put together an entire season like he had this final 10-game stretch to end the season, and he's going to make himself a lot of money for the following year and beyond.
And one of his fouls was really Milos' fault. JoJo was coming out to set a high screen. Los rushed it, and JoJo was called for the offensive foul because he wasn't set. And JoJo tell him, wait for me to get set. So that was a foul on JoJo, but it's really Milos' fault as the guard, the ball handler.
Yeah, definitely shout out Chase. I like everything he said. I like how he played down the stretch, the energy he brought. I wonder what his role look like going forward. Will he be able to still be playing at a stretch 4 or playing his natural wing position? Because I was thinking about how watching a Damian Dotson interview where Sampson told him that he can have a career like Bruce Brown, and he kind of shunned upon it at first. And just kind of thinking about Chase, I think he can have that type of impact at the NBA level. Someone who plays really, really hard on defense, can be a good defender, 3-and-D guy. And so also shout out to Kingston, man. I loved his comments. I want to make sure to give him his flowers. He had a great, great, great year. Really, really, really special player. And I loved watching him play. He's a really, really good player. I think he's going to be even better in the pros because there isn't. There is a defense at 3 seconds, so you can't just camp out in the paint. Where it's more space, he'd be able to get his 1 or 2 dribbles to his pull up, and what you see him really, really excel in that area, continue to get better as far as knocking down a 3. He's a good 3-point shooter now, but next level, I think he's going to be even better than he was in college. He'll have more space. He'll create. So,
sorry, Dan.
Both of those two say for sure.
we're seeing a lot of comments come in from the Pinto Loan Law Firm, the immigration law experts. I'll just hit a couple of these real quick. Luke V00. No, Kingston Flemings is going to the NBA. It's just a matter
He's a
of
top 5, top 10 pick. He's not coming back.
It's a matter of the announcement, man. There is no NIL that can bring him. That'll bring him back. He's ready to be a pro and take his next step in the NBA.
I don't know if he's ready to be a pro. He's ready to be paid like a pro.
He's ready to be a pro. If
he's got a lot of upside and great.
He's ready to be a pro. What?
He's ready to get developed with the NBA. He's gonna make a lot of money. There's no NIL that'll bring him back.
No. He's making
there's this
a lot of money next year. 10, 12, whatever it is, 14 million.
See, the big question that keeps getting brought up, and we're gonna have a clip from Chris Gardner here where it was mentioned, and he keeps it politically correct, but he says he's gonna have a conversation in the coming days with his family about potentially what his next steps will be. I'll say here on air, here 1:20 in the morning Central Time, I think that Kris Gardner is also gonna be going to the NBA. My opinion, I would be very surprised if he returns. TJ3JB, again, via the Pinto Loan Law Firm. Will Mercy stay? That's going to be... Chris, what are your thoughts on that question? Will Mercy stay?
I mean, it's up to him. He wants to start. I don't blame him. We'll see if that happens.
He'll start.
I just don't get into the talk like that. I'll talk to people on the staff, and they may tell me stuff. Guys come, guys go. If they want to go, they go. I wish him well. Somebody else will come in the portal and try to replace him. I just don't. Whatever. This the way things are in basketball now, college basketball. Kids leave. They want to leave. Do what's best for them. Good luck to them. Kids stay. Good luck to them. I just whatever.
Pharmacist Shane, do we think that Houston looked
Hell
ahead
no.
and underestimated? No chance.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, you give credit to Illinois. It's like they executed a game plan, and Houston just they couldn't capitalize. Like they didn't. They picked their poison, right? You hear that phrase often with Illinois, and that was like, we're gonna give up open jump shots, and if Houston hits them, then Illinois was gonna get. They would have been the team that lost double digits, because there was a clip. I think it was with the TV interview that Kelvin Sampson had after they got out of the locker room, but the quote was, if you would have told him before the game that they held Illinois to 65 points, he would have
took it. Yeah.
And Houston just had a very poor shooting night offensively.
I think if I can comment on that, I think Kris either goes pro or transfers. Just the way the system's been working, I think the other big guys coming in is probably going to be a starter. So I think Kris either goes pro, and like the comment said, I think he'd probably be like Jarris Walker in his first couple years, depending on where he goes. And I think it's rightfully so, continue to develop, because he's still young. And but I think though either one of those two things. I think as far as Mercy, I wonder what Mercy will do. I hope he comes back. Because if he does, I think he'd be the best player, best guard coming back for sure.
And he could be a leader. He could speak to the culture and the grind and how he's ready to lead and be that player.
We would have to have Tremont Mark tonight.
No, I wouldn't.
No, I would have for sure.
Nope. He still lost too.
Yeah, he would have performed way better, I think.
And he's still lost. I'm not living in the past with guys who left. I'm not doing that. I don't do that. I don't live in the past. He left for a reason. God bless him.
I speak for me. You speak for you. I speak for me.
There you go. That's what I want. That's what I want from you. Yes, that's right. That's what I want. Don't be shy. Don't hold it. Come on, talk it. That's right. Come on, talk it. That's how you feel. I want you to let everybody else know how you feel about this. That's what I want from you. Yes.
I'm saying it. I would love to have him tonight. I think he would have produced well for us.
Justin Singleton.
His team still lost.
Mercy Miller, if he lives, he's not leaving for New Orleans.
No.
No.
I just saw an interview with Mercy, and he said this summer is what his biggest summer importance to. I think it was maybe Chris. No, I think it was Adam Wexler.
JG, stop telling me to relax, bro. Okay, I'm a grown ass man.
JG, right? He would have loved to have Tremont for sure.
Jay Mitch. Jay Mitch says Tremont over Milo. So, oh my goodness.
Easily, like it's no brainer. But to Mercy, he said that this upcoming summer is going to be one of the most important summers of his life, paraphrasing to what he wants to do, and he has to really, really develop in that. And I think he sees what's in front of him, and I hope it's here, because watching him, his upside is tremendous. It's way tremendous. Like, I can arguably say what if he played more minutes, he could have probably been the second best guard on the team. So I can't wait to see him next year, if he in the Houston uniform, hopefully.
One more comment I want to spotlight, again, via the Pinto Law Firm comment section. Any thoughts on this from E.I. Crabtree? Sadly, I wonder if Coach Sampson calls it. I think only he knows. Coach Kellen might be ready to take the reins.
Well, I agree with that. I think only he knows. Yeah, that part for sure. I don't think he wants to go out like this, though. No. I think he's going to try to see what the guys he brings in next year, and with the incoming players who they get in the portal, and make one more run at it, and then maybe next year. He has said more and more lately in some of the press conferences about his age and getting up there, and, he knows the end is come, but I don't think he'll go out like this, no. I don't think more likely Bill Self than Coach Sampson will end it up in after this offseason.
I don't think so either.
Bill Self looked pissed the fuck off after, excuse my language,
Andy.
They lost. I have never seen Bill Self that pissed off when they lost to in their second round game to St. John's. Like the camera panned to him, and that's a brutal way to lose.
Well, I mean, where they lost, yeah. Yeah.
I agree with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, it would be a very sad way to go out, and he'll be back, in my opinion. My personal
I think he'll be
opinion,
back, but I honestly don't think it would be a sad way to go out, because in his words, he always really says, it's tough to get to the Sweet 16. I think it's 7 in a row, and he just talks about how hard it is to win the game in the tournament, and so I don't think in his view, from what I've heard him say, that he would think it's a sad way to go out, in my opinion. I think he comes back, but I don't think he views it in that manner, because he always says, it's tough to get to, Sweet 16, to win a game, et cetera, in which it is. So I think he comes back, but I don't think if he doesn't, he would view it in that manner.
Yeah, he's comfortable in his skin and what he's accomplished, and with his age. He wants to win. He's a competitor. He wants to win, but he's not. I think he's past the days of it being life and death and defining him of, whether he wins it all or not. So, but I think he'll come back for at least one more year, if not two, and go. I think he wants to go out with a championship. Now, if he gets to a point, so far the health has not been an issue for him. Coach Self has had a few health scares. Coach Sampson has, that we know of. So I think Coach Sampson's going to try, go out a winner. And if he doesn't, ultimately he'll make that decision, and he'll be good with that. And he'll still be whatever you want to call it, Coach Emeritus or whatever around campus every so often, and spend time with their grandkids as much as he can. But, go from there.
Yes, I think in his mind he already thinks, he will go out as a winner. So I wouldn't be surprised either way. I think he comes back. But I think in his mind, he goes out as a winner. For me, just speaking only for me, because I don't know what One Funny had is saying I'm being shy or turd, whatever, because I'm speaking how I feel. But for me personally, and even what I teach my children and my players, we acknowledge, it's good and good wins, but we don't celebrate losing or not winning championships. You're either first or you're last, in my opinion, on how my mindset.
So, and we'll find out. I forgot who it was, about keep mentioning Dayon Thomas is in the portal. And there'll be other talented players in the portal, and Houston will evaluate and do what's best that they think for the program. But one thing that Coug fans and supporters have to acknowledge, it's going to come down to money for what some of these kids who are in the portal want. And if Houston can't afford that, and not everybody is going to, Houston is going to be able to match their price. And that is the reality of the situation too.
I don't know if I think it's true for some players, but I don't think that's true for every player. Because
no. But, some of I don't know Didon's situation. Well, I know some things, but I'm not going to get into all that. But there are players that Houston may want, and then in talking to them or their people, we can't afford you on that. Sorry,
Right. Like I was trying to say, I mean, that may be true for some players, but I think with Houston, they can sell different things versus just $1. We can pay you this, versus to get you there. Like, for example, having consecutive All-American players, specifically at the guard position, developing guards, that's different things that money can't buy. You can go over here, they may get you more money, but if I'm a guard, and I'm thinking about coming here, I've seen the likes of Kingston, Jamal, Marcus, Quentin, Dayon, and so forth and so forth. I'm thinking if I can get that, I can get more money on the back end. So I do think it's some players, yes, but for the players that we're going to be looking for, I don't know if that's going to be an issue. But maybe so. Now that I think about it, Coach Sampson actually said it. He said that. So
he had somebody in mind for that too. Yes.
I take that back. Because, yeah. But I think either way.
Let's put one final pause again. Take this time to thank everybody, honestly, that has taken the time to comment. Regarding whether that Arizona fan has been with us since ever they came at the end of February. Thank you for commenting. Thank you, everybody that's been commenting all season long. Again, going back, this is the forum. This is for you guys to discuss everything that has to do with the Houston Cougars in any way, shape, or form. Whether it's after a win or a loss, we're back at it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the result of the game will be here. We'll discuss about it. And at the end of the day, whether tensions rise, it's after dark, so I accidentally dropped an F-bomb. We're having some real discussions. You know what? That's what we do here at Let's Rage Coogs. Big thank you to every single person that's commented, not only tonight, but any point this season. You guys really add an extra layer to the show that we can never say thank you enough. Big thank you to our sponsors on this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, beginning with Steve Saxenian. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian for being a primary sponsor every single episode. Again, going back to week 1 football to tonight. Big thank you to Star Pizza, who's been a secondary sponsor. The same week 1 from football all the way to tonight here in the Sweet 16. Big thank you to BB's Tex Orleans for being a sponsor during the Big 12 tournament and NCAA tournament runs. Again, BB's Tex Orleans is the Houston-born Cajun seafood restaurant serving bold Louisiana flavors with a Texas twist. Check them out online at bbstexorleans.com to see their multiple locations throughout the Houston area and their menu offerings. And big thank you to the Pinto Law Firm for being the comment section sponsor of this edition of Let's Rage Coogs, the Pinto Law Firm, the immigration law experts. Look, Green X69. He said, "Great show, peace." They kept coming back.
I think
appreciate the respect.
Appreciate that, and good luck to Arizona.
Good luck to Arizona. Yeah. Good luck to Arizona.
Hopefully, Iowa State get 2 Big 12 teams in the Elite 8, and Big 10 already has 3. No one's going to the Final Four at least. And that one's coming from the South, unfortunately. Arizona, their offense is clicking, apparently looking at the box score. So good luck. I still, I hope the champ comes from the Big 12. It's down to 2 options.
Iowa State and Arizona. Not a good night to be Brett Yormark, who was in attendance here at Toyota Center today.
And yeah, he was. I walked past him, but I didn't shake his hand though. He was talking to somebody else. But it was words until he probably may get a contract extension. Coach Altenberger said he's not going anywhere else. He's not leaving Iowa State. That was great to hear. I hope he sticks with that as well. And it's still a very, very good conference. But right now, the Big Ten has more teams still alive in the tournament. And so they can do the bragging right now.
Yeah. I have one more clip I want to get to. It's a short clip. It's Chris Enack. I really want to put it because of what he talks about just in terms of his future. So I'll play that real quick, and then we can wrap things up.
After getting 7, I mean, that's not normal. So, you know, but he loves us so much, and I really respect him a lot.
Not to be redundant, they've asked you this before, but what the senior leaders on this team, Milos, Manuel, Ramon, what have they meant to you and the team?
I mean, everything. Mo's gotten me so much better this year. Emmanuel held me accountable every day. Los has gotten me so much better. JoJo, you know, just being, you know, 4 and a 5 with him, kind of the same position. You know, he's taught me so much things in his system that, you know, it would have been hard to figure out on my own.
I think someone was saying that even in the second half, you guys felt like y'all had a chance to run there. When that was going, that were sort of it hits home a little bit more when you simply just run out of time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we had many opportunities to, you know, get up in this game or, you know, win the game, but, you know, we couldn't make no shots. And it's like that sometimes. But, you know, we just gotta, you know, we just had to keep believing.
What do you feel about Illinois and what did they do so well to keep you guys? It seemed like every time you got into the paint, every shot down there was kind of difficult. Like, what was it about their defense that gave y'all problems?
I mean, they're a great team. They're a great team. I mean, they're going to the Elite 8, so they're a great team. Great size, great coach. I mean, that's applause to them.
You know, all the hugs, you know, after the game. Is it hard to, you know, think, you know, some of these guys, you might not, you know, obviously you'll see them at some point down the line, but, you know, this is the last time they share a locker room.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. It hurts a lot, but I'm the first thing to tell you people. I'm always be here. This is forever gonna be home to me.
Do you think this year got you ready for the next level?
For sure. I mean, I've learned so much since being here. I've gotten so much better and improved so much. I learned so much. Like, I don't think nobody would even understand. In 1 year, it's been great. I love this team so much. I love this place so much. Yeah, I've got pushed every day. You know, and I like being held accountable, and, you know, they do that here, so I like it a lot.
For you, what does that timeline look like going forward?
No clue. I just got to talk to my family, and we'll figure out from there.
So that was Chris Enack, ringing endorsement to the University of Houston program. And, you know, we will see potentially also has played his final game as a Houston Cougar. That's going to wind things down here for this edition of Let's Rage Coogs. Once again, the final score from the Toyota Center. Illinois comes away with the 65-55 victory over Houston in the Sweet 16 in the South region. Emmanuel Sharp led all scorers, believe it or not, with 17 points on 7 of 16 shooting from the field. Kingston Flemings got into double figures with 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. Chris Enack had 6 points and 10 rebounds. The monster on the glass, especially early. He had a couple of big-time boards. JoJo Tugler had 6 points and 4 rebounds. And Chase McCarty had 9 points, a rebound, and an assist. Miles Uzan had 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 5 assists in the loss. Final thing I'll say before I toss it over to y'all. If you haven't done so yet, be sure you hit the subscribe button to the Podslam Jamma YouTube channel, the Houston Round Ball Review YouTube channel. Follow us on X, Podslam Jamma. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, Let's Rage Coogs. This is it for basketball season, but spring football right around the corner. Spring game right around the corner, and there's a lot of big things coming on the horizon, both for Houston football and that Houston basketball will retool next offseason. It'll be interesting to see what they do, what kind of moves they make. Potentially, you'll have Mercy Miller coming back, Chase McCarty coming back, JoJo Tugler coming back. I mean, that's a good trio to start with, and we'll see what new pieces they add around them for the 2026-27 season. That being said, again, big thank you to everybody that's joined us for the entire season. Big thank you to Steve Saxenian, to Mike and Jennifer Pittman with Star Pizza, to BB's, to Marisela and Alyssa with BB's Tex Orleans. A big thank you to the Ignacio Pinto Loan Law Firm. Can never say thank you enough to each and every single one of y'all for helping make the Let's Rage Cougs possible. And with that, I'll toss it over to you guys. Any final thoughts?
Well, the only baseball note I know, I think Coach Whitting's contract is up and it won't be renewed. So I think this is it for him, even though they beat the Longhorns on Tuesday. So that's a great thing. Any Coug win over the Longhorns is a great thing. Thank you to everybody for participating in the discussion, staying up late with us for this After Dark edition of Let's Rage Cougs. The Arizona fans, the Big Ten fans, salute to you as well. Subscribe to Podslam Jamma on YouTube, but also subscribe to the Houston Round Ball Review. Kudos once again to Andy for joining me for the Thursday takeover on the Round Ball Review. Hopefully we'll get Dayon to join as well so we can talk, have a weekly connection with the Cougs and football season. And it's time for UH Athletics to shift gears and carry the momentum of football season and get everybody ready and hyped for the upcoming football season. But join us on the platforms, and we'll do it again soon. And I'll wrap it up, as I always do, since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective.
Man, what a season, man. What a season. I think it was Chase maybe said that, one game doesn't define the season. Definitely doesn't. It was a heck of a season. Shout out to Fluff. I know Fluff time, it was real late, but I know he's with us in spirit. And so definitely was a joy having him alongside us all year. He brings a different element that none of us can bring to the show. And it's always a pleasure being alongside you guys for another season. I'm looking forward to it for years to come, months to come, God willing. I'm enjoying it, man. I love it. I'm looking forward to joining you, Kris, on your show for sure. Anytime. Apologies for yesterday. But anytime, man. Good season. I'm looking forward to next year. Basketball, retooling, see what we bring to the table. Hopefully we can get over the hump. I'm ready for football as well. Spring game coming up. Another third year for Fritz. Does he extend his win total and build on what he just did the first 2 years? I think that's a big key. I think especially for Houston fans, like if he can have a consecutive year like he did, I think he can really win over some fans and really start to pack out the stadium and show some consistency there. I think that's important because the basketball program has the consistency. Football needs it, and I'm ready for the ride, and I'm looking forward to it. And so shout out to everybody that's been joining us every week. Yeah, I know E.I. Crabtree, and I've seen him every single show. Shout out E.I. Crabtree. If I missed you, I don't remember, but I seen him for sure. So everybody's joining us tonight. One funny hat. Shout out to you, JG, everybody that's joining us tonight. Penn Leon Law Firm. Thank all the sponsors. Like Andy said, we're gonna keep going till the wheels fall off. Always, baby. Go Coogs.